Okay, let's review some of the moves from today. Let's look at Facebook really quickly. Facebook, I was actually a little disappointed in my trade. This was the first trade I took today. So, remember yesterday I was talking about the range that Facebook is trading in. 200 is going to be the high. So looking at the daily, um, leg up, pull back, second leg up, and we kind of created this range over here with this giant outside bar. This bar from, I don't know what day that is, looks like maybe last Thursday. So yeah, that was basically the range that we created. And looking at the 30-minute, 200 is the top of the range, 187.50 is the bottom of the range, and this 194 level is the pivot. That's the way I look at the market. Obviously, everybody has their own system and the way they trade. That's just part of my system. Now over here, I was looking for a failed breakout of this 200 and zooming in over here. So 9:30 we push. Second 30-minute candle, can't close over it. Third 30-minute candle, failed breakout of this high, and as we're coming below on this 5-minute bar, when we close below on this pullback into 200, I got short. We came straight down to my 2R, and then as we came back, it popped me out for break even. I said, you know what, this is probably not ready yet. Strong on the day, holding the 5-minute moving average, bounced off VWAP, I mean, it's holding VWAP pretty nicely at this point. Obviously, this price action hadn't formed yet. So I said, okay, let me step away. Let me see what some other things are doing. But later on, this turned out to be a beautiful failed breakout of the previous high, which was 200.94. We got the close over, failed breakout of this high, pulled right back in, closed below the level again, and then this was the perfect entry for the day. And you could just, drag this down. I mean, write it down. I mean, this will give you, depending on where you put your stop, this could be a nice 5 to 7 hour trade. Okay, so let's look at Microsoft. Microsoft didn't do much today. It was kind of just sideways price action. I mean, if we look at the larger time frame, we did bounce off the pivot, which was that 269.50-ish area that I was talking about. I mean, it bounced off of it yesterday again. Microsoft's holding pretty fairly above the daily 9 moving average right over here. That pivot is going to be very critical for this week, so let's see how that turns out. We did close above it today, so that is a good sign. If we do gap down, that might be a good area to short on a pullback into it. Looking at NVDA, NVIDIA had somewhat of a sell-off today. We tried to get to the top of the range, but we just failed around 190, around 192. We failed right below the pivot, which is 187.50. So there was a good short over here. Unfortunately, I was at max loss already, so I was unable to take a trade. Let's see right over here. So at the 2 p.m. candle, so let's look at the day. So we shot up, failed 192, came down, and now we're below the pivot. So if any pullback into the pivot is a good short in my opinion, sorry, not in my opinion, in my system's eye. So we close below any pullback into it. So this is perfect because the 9 moving average on the 30 is coming down as well. We have the opening price right over here, so we can see this on the 5-minute chart as well. So this is the area that would be great to short. Once you see any bear activity, you can take this short over here. This is the 187.50 level. So this was a perfect short, pull back short into the moving average, reject from opening price, bring it back down, test the lows, test low day. We are below that middle pivot. Depending on how things trade tomorrow, 187.50 could be a great area to get a short off, a pullback short. Facebook, Microsoft. Let's look at AMD. So I tried to grab a long on AMD at 103-ish, like I was talking about yesterday. So yesterday we were looking at 109.40 as the high of the range, 106-ish as the pivot, and 103 as the bottom of the range. So I tried to grab a long over here, which is near yesterday's lows, and which is where the daily 9 moving average is. At the time, if we look at the chart like this, we were fairly extended from the 9 moving average, but there were no bids in sight and sellers were relentless over here, and that's when the ES started to sell off as well pretty hard. This was 1R as well, and 103.13, just like the other ones, could be a great area to short tomorrow. It's the pivot. This is sometimes my levels just move around randomly on here. Okay, so yeah, 103.13 is it could be a good area to short tomorrow. I don't take trades at levels blindly. I also use order flow. That's why I have Sierra charts. I'll make a separate video for that, showing how I look at price action through order flow and these support, resistance, and pivot levels that I have. Last one is Baba, and Baba was just relentless. What are these levels? Okay, what is this? I guess we don't need this. Or let's look at this on the daily actually. Let's zoom out. So I took a short over here.
Sorry, your device lost its connection.
Oh, okay. I took a short over here at 112.50, and that was, you're obviously not going to see it on the 30 or 60-minute chart. This is because we were getting pushed into the pivot area for this range that had formed over here at the end of March. So I took a stab at it over there. It was a fair shot. The order flow was showing a lot of sellers, but the moment I wanted to get out, I mean, price was just pushing. So I said, you know what? There's no point in getting out for like 0.7 or 0.8 R. Let me just take the full R stop and move on to something else. Unfortunately, like I said, I hit max loss. Yeah, so I had a 40-cent stop right over here. Unfortunately, I did hit max loss today, and I'm only saying unfortunately because I would have loved to capitalize on this Facebook idea. It's a beautiful failed breakout at the top of the range. I mean, it doesn't get more perfect than that. I would have loved to take it short anywhere around here. So yeah, that is it for today.